Welcome back, fellow shop rats. As always around here, I'm shifting gears, and I don't mean like with the 4-speed. I'm reevaluating and reprioritizing and stuff like that. And today I have decided to do a couple of things that I've been putting off for a while. It's not exciting stuff, but it is the reality of being in a shop here like this. So let's catch you up on what we've done, and then we'll go forward from there. Let's watch the show intro. I'm Mike.
This is My Cars Shop.
So you will notice there's a big gaping hole here again where that white $500 paint job truck was. Yesterday I took the time to get the shop opened up and get the trailer moved and get things in position to load that truck into the trailer and get it ready to go back to the owner so that we can bring the Pro Street GTS back home. There's no hurry to get it over there. He doesn't need it yet. I don't need the dart. So we're going to get it done on a day when the roads are dry and so forth. My truck is still acting up, and he's got a nice truck that can pull the trailer with. So we're just waiting for a day that he's available, and once again, the planets all align. But today what I want to do is I've had a bunch of stuff pushed over in this part of the shop that I haven't dealt with for a long time. And the only way to really, truly deal with it effectively is going to be to take the Challenger and move it up this direction and get some space back there to really evaluate what needs to happen. Again, it's about spending the day here in the shop. I'm just staging things for the next phase of what is going to be happening here, planning ahead, thinking ahead, that kind of stuff, and taking advantage of things while I can right now, while things are a bit slow in the outside world because things just keep getting canceled because of people being sick. And well, it's just a struggle on a day-to-day basis. But I have some time, and I figure, why not? Let's do it. So let's do it. Maybe we should just do it. Because after all, if we're doing it, then we could do it. And while we're doing it, we could be doing it. And then we've done it. Some people might wonder what the big deal is about just moving this car forward. But you have to remember that we are in a 100-year-old refurbished barn. And this floor in here is, well, you know, it's broken up a lot. It's broken up more than Taylor Swift has broken up. But I really think from the perspective of truly being able to function and move forward, now is the time to take advantage of this opportunity. So I got a couple ideas on how I want to move this. I do have a big loop that's cemented into this old floor, which has been here close to 100 years, believe it or not. I found the date in the concrete outside. Took a picture of it before I put the gravel in to create the approach to the shop door. And it was 1909, I think, something like that, maybe. So it was a long time ago. But anyway, so this floor is really broken up, and I have no intention of doing anything different about it right now. If I'm going to invest money, I want to put in insulation or eventually build a new building over there. Anyway, so we're going to do what we can. I got a couple ideas of whether I'm going to pull it with a come along or use a lever and move it that way, or we'll figure it out is what I'm saying. But just, you know, you'll see it as it happens. Well, I've looked the floor over pretty well, and from what I'm seeing, most of the big breaks and stuff in the floor are maybe not going to be an issue. The worst of it's right here. So I'm going to try the simplest thing first and just try to pull this thing ahead. Okay, something's hanging us up back there right now. What is it? I don't know. It's right here is where it is. Okay, let's move this over. So I was correct in my assessment that our biggest problem is right there. Well, this is going better than I expected, except I just hit some other damn thing again. Well, I'll be dipped. Not bad. I better go check things back there. I see one wheel is at least 4 inches off the floor. So the things I'm watching is this beam down the middle here to be sure we're not getting any spreadage on that. They say you should tack weld that together. So I, of course, did the right thing and didn't tack weld it together. But it is a concern. We don't want to pull on this end of it and have it pull apart, and then we got a mess. Then we got a problem. So I'm being very careful. So I think from now I'm going to go and push. I'm over the worst of my hump up here now. This part right here is the worst on the floor, and I'm over that. So I think we're going to be all right to go ahead. As long as I'm pushing on it, then I don't have to worry about this pulling apart. I know this seems ridiculous in some ways, that, well, it's on wheels, what's the big deal? That's what it's designed to do, is move around. And it's true. But again, it's the context of this ancient building, and I would bet a guess that most of you guys don't have ideal shop situations either, and that you might have some similar struggles if you have a rotisserie and you're trying to move it around. So, and that's the concern right there. We hit a hole in the floor again. So I'll go move that wheel and we'll be right back. Nothing is ever easy, you know what I'm saying? As long as it don't go bang, crash, boom, I'm good. Okay, what are we into now? Another bad spot in the floor. I wish I could have it over there, but I don't think the ceiling is high enough over there. Which makes me, there we go, I just hit the door. All right, we're good. Which makes me wish I had raised that when we rebuilt all of that, because that's the upstairs floor. I just replaced what was there, and I wished I had put it up another 2 feet or more, but that center beam would be a real problem. But the car could be in there this way, between the center beam here and the center beam over there, and rotate. But I don't think it's tall enough. I think I measured it once, but we may look at that option at some point. This part of the shop back here definitely gets neglected because of the Challenger being tucked right up in here and stuff getting set here to go upstairs, but never taking the opportunity to take stuff upstairs. So I'm really excited to take some time to put things up in the warehouse where they belong. We also have a big hole here where another creature has gotten in and dug a hole through. So I got a big mess of insulation here that I need to deal with. But all of this stuff is slated to go up. There's a few things over here that can go up. Just stuff that's been neglected. And that's, part of clutter is things not getting put back where it belongs. But when the Challenger is right in here, it's really hard to get upstairs. And so now it'll be nice and easy to take things up and down with no problem. Wow, that's a difference already. So I've got some decisions to make now. This is all the 4-speed pedals, or the clutch pedal, emergency brake, master cylinder plate, the bumper, squirrel cage, all that stuff is for stitches. I can't put it in the car because I'm constantly spinning the car around. Most of this stuff back here is probably some stuff I can deal with. I got to think about that a little bit. It's it's the wiring harness for part of the wiring harness for the Challenger, and some of the patches and stuff that I cut out, which I was keeping for reference. Also, one of the 4-speed transmissions is here, although I'm thinking this is the one I took the tail shaft off of. I may use that one in the Golden Mullet and use the other one that I have upstairs for the Challenger, but neither here nor there. Okay, I see a few things over here I can deal with, but here's my struggle. Here's my point, is I'm trying to figure out best case scenarios for what to do with the parts that I'm going to be using in the Challenger without taking them upstairs and having them get bird crap all over them all summer. I don't have shelves up there yet. A friend of mine, Chris, that you've seen on the channel, he's bringing me a huge van load of lumber that he got from where he works for free. And we're going to build a parts storage room up there and try to get some organization and get things put in categories and get some shelves and stuff up there. But that's not going to happen till this summer. I'm thinking through in the interim, where do I put things and what do I do with them while I'm trying to sort all this out? So let me think about that, and I'll be back in 3 or 4 weeks because I'm not good at it. I don't always know where an episode is going to go when I start filming for the day. Sometimes I just start filming and listen to what the day is telling me the episode should be about. I didn't intend this to be another one in shop organization and cleanup and so forth, but that's what it's turned into. And here's why. As I was going through and working on stuff in here and realizing that I had that bumper in a box, which made sense at the time to kind of keep it protected, and it was under the duster, I realized that something just moved there. I realized that it would be safer for the bumper to be on the wall. So I've got it hung up there with a bunch of screws and some big washers to hold it right to the wall, so there's no concern. Here's the cool part of that. I didn't plan this, okay? The rear valance, the bumper brackets, the other little bumper brackets, all the bolts, they're all right there. So when I go to put the back of the car together, boom. Now the taillights and all that stuff are still in the 47 Ford because that's the safest place for those to be. They will not get broken there. But if I think of a good place to put it in the shop here, of course, we'll bring it over. But look at the amount of trash. So if we go back to my principles that I'm working on and I'm learning, okay? For those that haven't been here before, I have not figured all this out. I have struggled with maintaining and keeping my shop clean. And in the last 6 months or so, I've been learning some things that are really moving me forward in ways that I never expected before. And that is breaking it down into simple things like little bites. First thing to deal with is always just deal with the trash, okay? The second thing to do is deal with the simple stuff. The third thing, which means the stuff that you know where it goes, just put it back, like over there, wrenches hanging on the wall. The third thing I've been using, and it's working really well, and that's what struck me as I was working here, was this needs to be another shop organization episode. The container concept. My containers on the toolbox and over there on that tray are full. I needed a screw bit for my screw gun. I knew exactly where the screw gun was because it's on the shelves over there. And I knew exactly where the screw bit would be because it was in that container where I just chuck all my tools when I'm done with different jobs. Today, I'm going to go back and put all that stuff away, but that's not the point here. The point is that the efficiency I'm finding, even though the place still doesn't look great, the efficiency that I'm finding is tremendous because I know kind of where to find stuff. I am not a micro thinker. I am not a micro detail. I am not a micro organizer. If you had to give me a label, it would be a macro visual organizer. And I like things where I can see them. So I don't care if the shop looks cluttered. What I care about is that it's not full of trash. And what I care about is that I can find things easily to move forward. I'm looking over at my welding bench, and that's still a mess from painting that truck. I haven't had an opportunity to go over there and spend 10 minutes and sort that out, and we're going to do that soon also. My paint bench back here, I'm not too worried about because as long as the duster's here, I can't really work back here like I normally would when I paint cars. So that's fine for now. I'm just going to pretend I don't see that. But look at this mound of trash that I got as I started sorting through things and sweeping things up. I still have stuff here to deal with, stuff over there to deal with, but I'm thinking about the most efficient places to put things. For example, I'm struggling with my center console, not knowing exactly where I should put that. I got some ideas. It may go on the wall there by that automatic shifter plate that we used as a pattern to make the 4-speed one. I'm not sure yet. I'm concerned about that getting broken. I normally keep it in the car when I'm not working and then take it out. I'm just got to figure out the most logical place to put that right now. So we're approaching this backwards and saying for organization, it's not about figuring out the best place to put it, but it's about putting things in the first place you probably would go and look for it. So it's a different way of looking at things. It's a different way of thinking. One of my biggest struggles throughout my life is I put stuff away, I come up with all this great organization, and then I come out here and I'm going, I have no idea where I put that because I didn't put it in the first place that I would naturally look for it. At the time, I put it somewhere that made sense in my mind. 3 weeks later, I don't have a clue. So I'm reversing that thinking and saying, okay, if I was to go look for this, where would be the first place I would look for it? And that's the place I'm going to put things. And it's helping. It's really making a difference. And that made sense to me. There's 2 screw holes. Put a couple screws in. It's out of the way. It won't get damaged there probably. It's easily seen. I'll know where it is. I don't have to worry about it getting kicked around and getting knocked over. In sight, but out of mind. How's that work? Okay, now I want to deal with this. And I just got to kind of take a look in here and make some decisions. So let me do that, and then we'll be back. So here's the fun. I was going through this tub, and I recognized most of the stuff. Spring plates, upper control arms, stuff like that. Kept that because of the seatbelt mount. This is a 6-way front seat mount. There's another one around somewhere. Where, I don't know. But I'm going through and I just noticed this over there and I'm going, that is not off of the Challenger. That's off of the Challenger. See the difference? They don't look the same. The bolt holes are different. The curvature is different. And I realized I sold, this is off of a body, Duster Dart Valiant Scamp. I had a guy came out and needed one for his Duster. And I took down the pair, but I didn't put this one back up in the warehouse where it belongs. So fortunately, I've been doing this a long time, and I recognize A-body stuff because I've had 30, 40, 50 of those, and I knew that was the E-body because I remember taking it off. So anyway, that's the kind of stuff that ends up happening. I recognize what things are, but I got to figure out what to do with this tote. I think this is the seatbelt mount hoop that goes in the back under the floor. I need to put that back in the car, and the rear shock cross member is over here also. So we'll do the right thing and put that over there and ignore that for now. All my 4-speed rods are here, but I think this tub minus this piece of trim, which I don't remember what this is for, but it's off the Challenger. This might be a piece of windshield trim. Might be a vinyl top trim. I don't know. I've got all brand new vinyl top trim for the car. This probably is a piece that came off of it. Gas pedals, all that stuff is in here. I think I'm just going to put a lid on that, put it upstairs. I'm going to take that 6-way seat bracket and hang it for now till I find the other one, and then I'm going to sell those. Those are actually quite valuable. I know they were both here, so. But that's what happens is stuff gets squirreled around, and then I have to figure out where the match is. So that's what we're trying to get a handle on. And that right there is where I lock up in my head, not knowing what to do with this pile of clutch pedal, brake pedal stuff, that tin that I need to keep, that wiring harness. So I got to spend some time pondering that before we move on. I want to deal with this stuff completely. And that's what I would encourage you. I'm spending more time out here doing this than I normally would, but like I said, my schedule today completely threw me, so this is a good way to spend some time thinking about some business stuff I need to deal with and stuff like that too. And this is kind of mindless work in some ways, but I'm not ready to throw out all the scrap yet until I'm 100% done with the floor and all the components are back in the car. So I keep that stuff until the project is completely done. I don't want to go back digging in my scrap metal pile to find something because I missed it. So I got to ponder that a little bit, but I'm overall comfortable with the way this has turned out here. I got most of the stuff taken upstairs that needed to be taken up. So I'm going to go grab some lunch, clear my head, and come back out with some fresh eyes and see what we see. I'll be right back. Well, there we go. That's progress there. I wasn't sure what to do with the clutch pedals and all that stuff. So for now, I just put it under the 340. I know that's not its permanent home. I got to think more about it. I did decide to take the electrical upstairs. There was a couple pieces of metal that was in that tub that I took over to the scrap barrel. The tote went in the back room with all the other tote of Challenger parts. There's stuff back there that I've been just squirreling away. So it's progress. Now the next thing I want to do is focus on these things here. One thing I struggle with is I end up with projects like I have actually 4 chainsaws that I need to work on or I've been working on, and they ended up getting stuck on the floor under the Challenger. So I want to scratch my head for a minute and figure out what I might do with those to make my life easier. I got some ideas, but that way I can just pull them out, work on them. Like this electric one, the clutch is bad in. I have another electric one identical to it. It's probably just a matter of taking the bar and chain off and putting it on the other one, but I haven't ever tested the other one, stuff like that. So I just want to think that through real quick and say, okay, what's the simplest, easiest thing I can do with the chainsaws to make them easily accessible when I need to work on them. And then when I'm done working on them, I can put them back where they belong, which is in that back corner of the barn, which is Becky's room for gardening and stuff. Decided to put the chainsaws, hang one on the nail here, and the other one is just hanging there. Probably not what's permanently going to be there, but it's a great place for now. And if any of my other saws I want to work on, I can just hang them there, and makes a good place to get them out of the way. So I like that for now. And then ultimately, if I want to use that for hanging extension cords or whatever, that works. So took a little time, decluttered my bench, so I feel good about that. Now, there is a second reason I was doing all of this, and like I said earlier, I wasn't exactly knowing the direction today's episode was going to go. But here's the thing. I need to be able to work behind the Challenger at some point. Does anybody have any idea why?
Do you know?
Well, let me tell you. I have a trunk floor to install in this car, and I have decided to go ahead and do it while it's on the rotisserie so I can finish it on the top and the bottom. But when this car was tucked way tight back into that corner, there was no way that I could easily put that in. But now that I've got things straightened up, cleaned up, and can move that thing out a ways, even if I want to go out this far with it, it'll be easy to work on installing that floor. Item number 2, now that we've accomplished a milestone on the $500 truck, a $500 paint job truck, I want to get going on getting this inner rocker panel done here on the Forsyth. Now I have things really straightened up well as far as the that side of the car and ease of access and so forth. But if I wanted to now, I could also leave the Challenger out there and move the Duster out here if that made sense to give me more room to work on it. It probably doesn't, because where I would end up with it out here is the door area would be right there in the poles, which I have to support that part of the barn. Unfortunately, I wanted free span in here, but I didn't want to spend the money for an I-beam that's 32 feet long, so you get my thinking there. But anyway, I'm really serious about taking steps forward. We have most of what we need for this car. A little bit of fabricating. We couldn't get an inner rocker panel for the driver's side. The passenger side's okay. But in order to put the torsion bar cross member in that we got from AMD, we need to get an inner rocker panel fabricated for this car. So now that we have things cleaned up, if I want, I can move the Challenger out. I can move this out if I need to. If I wanted to bring this car out and put it a little bit of an angle here for a while, I can do that. I just freed myself up and made things a whole lot more efficient to work should I choose. And that's the main thing. I also have another project that we're going to be hammering on over where the Oakland is. And the Oakland will be out where the Challenger is, and the Challenger will be back here for that. But that's not going to take too long to get done. I'm going to continue to let that be a surprise. I'm anticipating probably 2 weeks. I need to check scheduling with Becky and also check scheduling with my buddy Matt to see what those schedules look like. And I also need to be sure that all the materials are good to go and we're ready to do what I want to do on that day. So there you go. Well, that was not at all what I anticipated today to look like, but that's what today looked like. And I really appreciate you joining in. Let me emphasize again that the next struggle I'm having in my shop organization progress is I'm struggling with not getting ahead of myself, for one thing. I'm really trying to stay focused on trash, dealing with the simple stuff. In other words, putting things back where they belong, that I know where they go, the stuff that has a home, and then containers, which we're dealing with. And in this case today, it was just needing to kind of poop shuffle and get some of the poop in the shop, put some things I knew where they went, some things I had to make decisions. I'm really happy with all that we did to hang things on the wall. I think this is outstanding for a couple of reasons. One, we're not too far out from getting the Challenger off the rotisserie, and it's going to be fun to see these things come off the wall and go into the car and know that they're in their permanent home. It's also a safe place to keep things, so I really like that. But I'm at this impasse right now where I'm just not exactly sure where I want to put things. I know, like, I have a huge shelf of cylinder heads in the back room. I'm not even sure. I see a set of heads and an intake over there. Those might be, I think those are off the 340, which is why they're there, but I got to look at that. So there's some things in my mind. I see a steering box out of the Challenger. I see the 323 Posi for the Chally sitting over there on the floor. There's also a 291 gear center section over there, I think. That might be in the back room. I know what all this stuff is for, but I don't feel like I have figured out the natural places to put things yet. But I don't want that to stop me from taking those little bites and those little steps forward. And I feel like today was a big step. Is everything done perfectly? No, but if you let yourself be paralyzed by perfection, you'll never move forward. 30 years ago, probably, my wife said something that was profound, and it has had far impact on my life in many areas, but it's really starting to have impact in the shop. Things done imperfectly can still be a blessing. Staying focused on functionality, efficiency is what's important to me. I don't care if things look to your eyes or somebody else's eyes like they're cluttered. Now, I feel good about this space, don't get me wrong, but I feel good about it mostly because it's functional. And I think that is key in everything is, does it work well for you, or do you want it to be a showplace? If it works well for you for it to be a showplace, that's absolutely great. That does not work for me. It never has worked for me. It never will work for me. I just want to move forward and gaining efficiency here at my car shop. Well, I really appreciate you being here. It was fun to just kind of show up today and see what today unfolded like. I've got to get ready for some guitar students here soon and a bunch of other stuff I've got to get done. So I need to knock off. I'm out of time. And that's the thing about the little bite concept. Um, a lot of times your bites are going to be limited by the window of time you have. So try not to think about it as needing to accomplish a task from beginning to end, but rather look at the time you have and say, let's accomplish what we can in this window of time. So not wanting to be a victim to time, but by the same token, I'm involved in several businesses. I run a sound studio. I'm, the driving force behind the band. I've got all kinds of stuff going on over there. We've got 3 videos a week here. We're starting to do our place homestead videos again. We're turning out a new songwriting series on the band YouTube channel. There's just all kind of stuff going on, is what I'm saying. And so I try to carve out the time and say, okay, I have a 2-hour window. What can we get started on? What's a bite we can take? Maybe we can't get it all chewed up and swallowed, but we can at least take a little bite. All right, that'll do it for this one. We'll catch you on the next one. I appreciate all the love and all the support. We have merchandise. It's down there in the comments. If you want to send me stuff, send me an email. My email address is down there in the comments. We appreciate all of your love and your support, the cash donations, and everything you guys send my way to keep me doing what I do out here in my car shop. That'll do it. Catch you on the next one. Oh, don't forget, it's important.